Welcome back to the A4Q Testing Summit Jubilee Edition. We're live from Marrakesh, Morocco. In this session, we have the current ISTQB President, Olivier Denoo. Please join me in welcoming this incredible speaker in a discussion about the values of testing, the fundamentals of a tester, their added value, and how to identify and formulate that. I hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. So streaming live from Marrakesh. It's a great pleasure to be with you again. So let's go direct to the topic and the value of testing. And basically speaking, why am I talking about the value of testing? Because I'm doing a lot of conference, I'm meeting a lot of testers all around the world. And what happens is that most of these people are a little bit, puzzled with today's situation, the evolution of the business. They need to reinvent their job. Agility is there, and testing is not, written in stone within these agility approaches. And basically, they're just having a lot of question of what is their real added value? Is there still a future for testers? And the answer, I can tell you already, is a big yes. But they need to identify a little bit better what their added value is all about. And that's why this talk is now my favorite talk. Okay, so basically speaking, these guys have a lot of questions. Where am I going? What state am I wandering? And you have this DevOps stuff. You have AI booming now. Is AI going to replace me? All these sort of questions. So there's a lot of discussions around in the testing community these days. And basically, I must say that Agile has brought a lot of interesting values, let's say, to the common approach of software development. But Agile has been written by developers and to a certain extent for developers. I mean, I would not suspect that Agile had a not quality in mind when they define their principles and their different values or rules, whatever. But it's not written explicitly, so we don't see basically our children defects. Basically, when you are a developer, you don't see your own defect. When you write a letter, you don't see the spelling mistakes, the typos, or the punctuation problem that you're having. And basically, if some of you are, a proud father or mother of children, well, they are perfect, aren't they? They have no defects at all. And until we meet somebody who said, well, they're maybe not so perfect. They have some little, problems here and there, or defects here and there. And you need to have this second view or second opinion to really evaluate and take distance, basically. What is different? I hear a lot, if you're a bad developer, you can become a tester, or, testers are no different, and so on and so forth. Well, I can somewhat agree to this, but basically speaking, testing or being a tester, that's just a matter of mindset. And, all our children won't be Albert Einstein or Celine Dion. I mean, every piece of code that we are designing within a team, within an agile framework, whatever, it's not a perfect piece of software, and we need to identify these problems. So our software does not work always fine. And today the evolution made that, tester is not a role per se, or is not, it's rather a task today. That's just a task that somebody has to take within an agile team. So, well, it doesn't matter much. Somebody has to do the job, and there are people who are better at doing this job because they have a more critical mindset, a different kind of approach, a different kind of viewpoint, and this is what makes the difference in most of the projects today. So. One of the biggest problem that we have as testers within the community is that we're not very good at selling our added value, our capacity, our capability, our skills. And selling, that's not only for sellers. Selling is actually something that we do all the time, every day. You're selling IDs to your neighbors, to your spouse, to your friends. You're selling products here and there, but not necessarily as a salesman or a saleswoman, actually. And we all sell everything all the time, but because we are heavily technically focused people, in most of the cases, we don't really master the codes of sales. We're not very good at selling ourselves and our added value. And selling testing, well, it's not that easy, you know. I would dream that testers all over the world can do what is going to happen to this man. And here we go. And suddenly he exits the shop. He was just diverted to the shop and he exits and he has, well, loads of stuff. And wow, okay, this is done. And we need to sell testing the same way. We need to explain that we have an added value, and we need to sell loads of products, of approaches, of knowledge to, developers, to management, to whoever want to buy it, actually. And if we're thinking about selling, well, it takes three things. First of all, you need to have a customer. You need to have somebody that is interested in what you have to sell. And second, you need to have a product or a service. And third, you need to come to an agreement. And basically, this is okay. What is the price? What is the agreement that we can make so that we have a deal? And again, we need to identify this. What are our customers? Who are our customers? And I'm not necessarily speaking about customers in a sense that these are the people that ultimately we sell the products or service to, but we have internal customers. Somebody is interested in what we are producing as testers. Somebody is interested in getting defects, in getting reporting, in getting whatever we have to sell. Okay, so who are our customers and what do they want? And what do they say about us? This is basically the basic question that you must address if you want to understand what your added value is all about. Who are you testing for? And it's not, ultimately, of course, this is the end customer, this is the end user, that's all right. But before you reach that level, and sometimes we do not even connect to them, we don't even see them in real, there are other kind of buyers, internal buyers. It might be product owner, it might be the team, it might be your manager, it might be somebody who will evaluate you in the end of the year. I don't know, we have many of them actually. And what do they expect from us? They are expecting something from us. It might be information, it might be a defect report, it might be a list of bugs, it might be a perspective in terms of planning, it might be, well, we actually deliver. We have many deliverables. We have many products and services that we offer to the world, and we need to identify if these products or services are matching with the customers we sell to. And what do they say about us? That's how are we perceived by our real customers, internal customers, whatever the layer, we're addressing. So who are our customers? Basically, this is the first question that you should address as a tester, as a member of the testing community. And to identify these customers, we need to model them or modelize them a little bit. How do we see them? What is it that we perceive about us? And a very easy way to modelize customer is to use these personas. For those who are not familiar with the notion of persona, this is some kind of synthetic customer or synthetic person. So, and the more detail you build about this person, the more you enter into that person's world, and the model and the framework per se, the more you get into your real customer perspective. They are just there to replace your customer, and you have them in mind when you're delivering a product or a service. They are just there to guide you. And the question you might ask is, okay, let's say here we have Yoko as an example. How would Yoko behave if I delivered this to her, or if I give that piece of information or that reporting to her? Would she be happy? Is it what she's looking for? Is it the level of granularity that she wants, and so on and so forth? And of course, I don't know why it's moving, sorry. And of course, you have more than one customer, you have more than one persona, definitely. Building personas, that is about the whole set of roles or people we interact when we're working in a cross-functional team or multidisciplinary team, depending a little bit on how you call them. It might be the PO, it might be the business side, it might be users, real users. Sometimes we see them on projects, developers, managers, QA lead, just name them. There's loads of them. I just listed a couple of them, actually. And these personas, they have goal. And here I'll just use an example that is a very classic example about the service versus cost, and the necessity versus the optional approach, or the cosmetic approach of what you deliver. And each and every persona has a certain need, and what you deliver to them might be absolutely key, so absolutely necessary, and you go on the double row down completely to the left hand side, or it's just a nice to have, and this is optional. And depending on the necessity and the cosmetic side, they are ready to pay more to get, or to invest more to get what they need. So how much are they willing to pay for the service, and how much are they willing to invest for the service? And basically speaking, all your different customers, depending on each and every product or service that you deliver, are more or less interested. For instance, if you deliver a very detailed defect report to a high-level management, well, they couldn't care less in most cases. Well, of course, they know what a defect is all about, but they're more interested about the cost. They're more interested about the planning, and they don't care about the, every detail on every bug that you might find within the project. So the level of granularity, the level of service or product that you deliver is, of course, absolutely key. And they have their priority, and priorities can be, they have to choose. When you have a priority, basically this is because you need to make a choice, and the choice can be the cost versus quality, or cost versus risk, or necessity versus optional, or the image that you spread over the world versus the cost. How much are you willing to invest in your image? And it might define the cost of a website, for instance, something like that. Okay, and there are many questions or many choices that we need to go through to understand what they really want. What do they say about us? This is also very interesting to know how we are perceived by our different customers. And to do this, we have this empathy map that is kind of an easy reminder of what do they think and feel, what do they say and do, what do they hear, or what do we hear them say, how they see us. And basically speaking, the very, very key parts of this empathy map is what is their pain, what is the problem that we are solving, and what is the gain that we are bringing them. Because basically speaking, whatever you do, whatever level you are in the food chain, basically speaking, you're there to solve someone else's problem. And if you don't solve their problem, then you're not part of the solution, and they don't care about what you deliver, basically speaking. And it goes for selling real goods and products to real customers, but it's also valid, and it's also worth for the internal customers and what we as testers deliver to them. So what we often hear is, well, we can't trust them, they're not technical, they're too restrictive, there's no time, there's no budget, they're too expensive, that's not the right defects that they find. Well, we know that stuff. We know, we hear all that stuff for years, and we need to work on that. We need to be the solution and not the problem anymore. So we need to bring, you need to be the painkiller, you need to relieve them. Now, talking about the second option. So now we have the customers that are identified. Then we have the product and service. What do we deliver to them actually? And it might be many things, And I would love to think about value here, because, agility is always saying, yeah, we bring value faster. Yeah. But my question towards that is, what is value all about? Because delivering value faster, that's fine if you know what value is. But if you don't know what value is, it can perfectly be that you can deliver crap faster, if you pardon my expression. So value is something that we need to identify, and it can be real or it can be perceived. And this is something that is really important to identify. Just give you a small example here that is illustrated on my picture. If you have a little child, you offer that little child a plush toy, that little teddy bear. And that little teddy bear can cost you, let's say, something like 10 euros, okay? Or $10. It's not that much of a money, It's usually these kind of toys are pretty cheap, unless you go for the collector's item. It's not really expensive. But now figure out that you go to the big shopping mall with the little one, and the little one just falls asleep, and he lost the teddy bear. Is it a 10 euro issue? No, because that's the little friends. He was telling all secret. It has your smell. This is the transit object for them. So this is much more of a commotion than a €10 worth, And this is the difference between what the value is. I mean, here, the commercial value and the perception of the object. It's much more valuable than €10, definitely. It's also heavily depending on context. Not sponsored by Coca-Cola Company, by the way, but if they want to give me some money back, I would be more than happy. Well, if you buy a bottle of Coke somewhere, if you go to the end of the production line and you just look at how much it costs, it's probably a couple of cents, 30 cents or something alike. If you buy it in a big package in the supermarket, the price is different. If you go to the disco, then the same Coca-Cola can be charged, let's say, 10 or even more than 10 times the price. And you're ready to pay for that because you know that the service is different. The context is different, basically. And if you're in, 20,000 feet above the ground somewhere in the plane, that's another cost as well. And you're ready to pay because that's all about the market. That's all about the value that you put. Oh, by the way, if you find somewhere along the road a bottle of Coke that is open, would you drink it? Well, probably not. It has no value to you because what did they do with that? Is it okay? Is it safe? Blah, blah. But here I'm in Marrakesh. Let's say that I'm lost somewhere 20 kilometers away in the desert. And I'm starving and I'm so thirsty that I would die. If I find an open bottle of Coke, I would probably drink it to save my life. So the value is, again, heavily depending on the context. Oh, by the way, the price of Coca-Cola went down by 70% over the last 20 years. It's completely counterintuitive, but they want us to buy more. So that's the reason why they play with price. And the value is also something that is evolving over time. So some of you might have been doing some requirements engineering courses, certification like IREP or these kind of certification or IQBBA, and you probably heard about this kind of diagram. So you have these excitement factors. This is where you give them much more than what they expect, and they're so excited about it. Wow, it even brews the coffee. Wow, that's great, And over time, because competition knows that this is an excitement factor, they implement it as well, and then it becomes really streamlined, really the stuff that everyone has, and then the excitement factors go down, and then you come back to the basic factors, and they need to find something else to excite you all over again and make you excited about the product or service. There's one way to assess very easily if we're doing the right stuff, and this is this kind of requirement survey. So you just take the feature, the functionality, the product, the service, whatever you deliver, and you just evaluate this against two criteria. How important is it for you, and how satisfied are you with the current situation? And if you can answer that and you tick the box, you come to a diagram like this, which can help you identify opportunities. So each and every dot there is, let's say, a functionality or a product or a service that you deliver. And in most cases, because, well, I hope for you that you are quite successful, in what you're doing. In most cases, we deliver the right amount of satisfaction. So here I limited to a grade 5 to 5. And in this green area, this is where we just deliver the right service. That's okay. It's not exciting, but that's okay. That's good enough. Don't touch it. Okay. And then you have this excitement zone, which is, it's in French. That's too much. And that's where we're going too much. We're giving them more than what they expect. And then you have two possibilities. Either you go on the cost reduction approach and you say, okay, we're giving them too much for their money, so we will shrink that a little bit and we'll come back to the green zone. That is one approach. Or you go, like on the previous slide, to the kind of excitement factor, and we say, this is a differentiator. We're going much more than what they expect, but they like it. They love it, so let's not touch that. And let's put the emphasis on that. And then you have the third zone, and the third zone, not enough. It's again in French, I'm sorry, not enough. And it means that, basically speaking, it's so important to them, and you're not doing enough. So these are the factors where you can have a great influence. Because if you can change it, and if you can, solve the problem and come to the okay zone, or even to the too much zone, then you're perfect and you solve the problem. what do we sell actually? Well, we sell a lot. Okay, so basically speaking, if the paint is too expensive, it's not the right defect, we're too slow, we're too late. We're selling on the counterpart information, valuable pieces of information. Actually, do you want to know what is the current situation or the current status of your software or your planning, or the quality of defects for the most important topics, most important features? That kind of information is valuable because this is a decision helper for management. Shall we release? Shall we not release? And this is valuable for every tiny bit. So I'm talking about incremental development or for the full product package. Of course, if we're going to the classic development approaches. That is a decision helper. This is also a big relief, a big warranty or insurance. I'm used to ask to my customers, okay, if something goes wrong, what would be that something that would prevent you from sleeping well tonight? And then you identify what is the top preoccupation, what is the top concern, what is the top priority. And if you can help them, sleep well at night, making sure that the quality is good enough or the planning is good enough, then okay, you won the jackpot. We can find, of course, different ways to test faster and cheaper. I'm thinking of automation, but automation is not the ultimate solution. We have many ways to go quicker and cheaper, and sometimes with reaching more or less the same level of quality, we can have a mix of structured testing and exploratory testing, for instance, these kind of things, and we can be much more efficient and covering as much with less test cases. Well, these kind of things, this is extremely valuable to our customers. Okie doke. So we must be the painkillers actually if we want to succeed. Also, we can very quickly identify our product boards, and this is a fantastic tool in order to understand in which game you're playing, whether it is your own product that you're delivering to your customers, or whether it is the full product you're working on. What is basically the vision that the product is supposed to convey? What is about the target group, the needs, the product per se, and the business goals? And basically, this is questions. Whom are we developing for? Why are we doing that? How are we doing that? And how much are we going to invest in there? What is the business model? Okay, so we come now to the third part. So we have identified the customers. We have identified the products. Now we come to the customers and to the customer deal. Basically, how do we sell? What is the deal in here? And first of all, we need to put ourselves into their shoes. We need to understand their language. We need to understand their concern. And you see, you have these guys, and he's leaving his home in Canada there, and he wants to work. And then suddenly he finds that there are 3 bears in his gardens. One way is to panic and shout and so on and so forth, and probably make these guys aggressive. Another way is to just say, hey guys, I hope you enjoy my garden. Please now move on. I need to go to work. And the bears are not there to fight. They just want to find some food in there. So if they see that there is some sort of competition and the guy is there and wants to go, they just leave. So this is just, adopting the right mindset and putting yourself into their shoes. We also need to build the story. The way you build the story is that you start with exposition, you raise the action. At a certain moment in time, there is this little moment of trust or of truth that is the climax, and then you get into the folding options and the end of the game. This is the way that we tell stories. People like to hear about stories, so we need to sell our products or our services like stories. We need to explain how we are going to solve their problems through more efficient ways of communicating. And that's about authenticity, that's about simplicity, that's about emotion. We need to convey emotion. They need to feel that they will be relieved or they will be reassured if we deliver something that is matching their needs. Okay, so I would invite you to think of your product and services. Not right now, because I'm bombarding you with a lot of tools and frameworks and explanation, but just take a little moment after this conference and think about, okay, what is my story? What is the story that I'm going to tell in order to sell myself, to sell my products and services to whoever customers I have? And this is what it's all about. I guess that you have a fantastic solution to sell for having a better testing. You identified room for improvement. So how are you going to sell that to your customers, actually? One of the way that we often use is, actually, this is a psychology trick. It's called "it's not so bad." So you're making them expecting something terrible will happen. You don't even describe it. You just let their imagination do the trick for you. And wow, we go in production and suddenly the company is in such a bad shape, such a bad image that we're losing completely the face towards the whole world. And this is absolutely terrible. And then you come with something that is a small solution and you sell the product. Well, if you test better, you have a better quality and you will avoid that. And then they will sign for it immediately. This is how consultancy business is selling most of their product and services, basically. So this is, all our customers who've been security hacked this year, did not use our solution. And after the solution, now they haven't been hacked anymore. So this is a selling point. This is an entry point to selling. Okay, what is your story? What is your it's not so bad story that you need to sell? I will come next to proposing value. So you've heard a little bit earlier in this presentation that I was really focusing on value, but there's a way to propose value. Once you identified your value, you need to propose it in a smart way. You need to tell them, okay, I'm the solution and this is the added value that I will bring to you. And proposing value is a step-by-step approach. So for a certain target, for a certain set of customers, for a certain identified people who is frustrated by something, so that's the pain, the identified pain. So you know who you're selling to, you know what their pain is all about. Our solution, and this is what we sell to them, our product or service offers the capacity to solve the problem. We are the painkillers. This is how you formulate your value proposal. And it's valid for selling a real product or real goods or real services to real customers, but this is also valid for internal customers. I mean, internal people, your directly related co-workers, fellow co-workers. And of course, we are testers, so we need to challenge a little bit. And in this value proposal, of course, we believe something will solve some problem with a certain functionality to achieve a certain task. The task is also something that is very important. This is another presentation of mine about jobs to be done. We need to identify what they are going to do with what we provide them. What is the utility, what is the usage, what is the added value of what we provide to them, actually. So we need to help user better perform their task by using our products. And it depends on the level of knowledge that we have about the task and the product. So we need to dig into that. We need to identify really what the whole added value is all about and what the problems are. So I again would like you to step out a little bit after the A4Q conference and just think about what is our value proposal. What do we offer the world? What do we really want to push forward with our approach? And that is reaching the end of my talk. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Olivier Denoo, for your valuable insights into how valuable testers can be. I think that you have mentioned a couple of points that all of the testers or testers in the making watching these videos can take into the future of their careers. Thank you so much for joining us, and please note that all of our streams are available on the relevant social media networks, and you can find all of the presentations on Skills Club after the A4Q Testing Summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my pleasure.